Well, I'm back in the wonderful, wonderful world of Subnautica. In this video, I'd like to get to the point of making an outpost down in the Lost River somewhere near the Cove Tree. But before I do that, there'll be 2 additional modules for the Cyclops that I will be needing. So I believe LifePod 13 was the one that was in the mushroom forest, because there's a very special wreck that's in the larger of the 2 mushroom forests that I'll be needing for the Cyclops, and this is of course the thermal reactor, which will be really almost essential for going down in the lava zone later on after the Lost River portion of the game. So here is the larger of the 2 mushroom forests. Now there should be a wreck somewhere atop of one of these large mushroom trees. There it is right there. And that is where I should be able to find the data box that I will be needing. I believe this is a place I can get out and find it. And here it is right here, the Cyclops thermal reactor module, and that's going to be great just with the lava larvae that are involved. There's a PDA.
Integrating new PDA data.
But that's going to be really useful for the lava larvae that are down in the inactive and active lava zones, just because those all drain your power. And in my last playthrough, I remember that the thermal reactor outpaced the harm that they did to the power supply. And also, if I'm in the Lost River, there's plenty of those thermal vents that I could just park over to recharge the Cyclops batteries. Now, the second of the 2 things that I'll need for the Cyclops is the Cyclops shield generator, which really isn't essential for any part of the game except for the end of it, whenever we're ready to build the rocket and then from that point leave the planet. We need a Cyclops generator for that point, shield generator. But it would also be handy to have in the Lost River and the inactive lava zones, even though it consumes a whole bunch of power. The thermal module will also help out with that, so I'd like to have that too just before I make the trip down there. So while it's good that I have the thermal reactor, I probably won't be able to get it until I get down to the inactive lava zone, just because it does require kyanite, which can only be found there. The next thing that I'll need will be the Cyclops shield generator, which is in the 3rd Degassi base down there. But while I'm back here at the base, I'm going to take the modification station with me, just because I don't want to have to craft a second one when I'm down by the Lost River. I also gathered about 18 metric tons of resources off camera. I mean, I got so many limestone chunks that, I mean, I got so much titanium right here. So much. All these are full. So I think we'll be able to build a good outpost down in the Lost River. I'm all the way to here. That's all my titanium. And then since I only was looking for limestone chunks, I also got all this copper. I mean, look at all that copper. That is so much copper. Even all the way to here. Not near as much as my titanium, but that's a lot of copper. I will intend on taking a good chunk of it down to the Lost River, just because I don't want to have to rely on the resources that are there. I know there are a bunch of resources there, but I don't want to have to rely on them, what's there, in order to build what I want to. I want to be able to craft whatever I see fit. And I also got an almost full locker in here, so might have over prepared for this. I also didn't mention it before, but I also put these lockers in the Cyclops just for some additional storage space. I know that there's those down there, but I just really like the size of these that they offer. I had some power cell chargers, but it was kind of like running in place. It would deplete the charge, so I took those out. But I'll bring the resources down with me to the Lost River so I can at least still have them down there. So I got enough materials for a total of 3 power cell chargers, which I guess I'll put just in here. And then I'll probably also need a fair amount of lithium down the Lost River just for all the reinforcements that I'll have to make. I don't have a whole lot of lithium in comparison to everything else, but that's okay. I'm sure that I'll come across some more eventually. And speaking of which, based on all this titanium collecting, there's almost no limestone chunks anywhere in the safe shallows that I'm near. I've almost got them all with the help of the scanner room, or at least about half of them. Everything over here has been absolutely scavenged for limestone outcrops, but there is still stuff over here. There's probably an eclipse going on up there. And then there's some things where I don't know if I'll need them or not, but I'll take them anyways, such as some blood oil for, say, some benzene perhaps, or anything else that may be required. I'll also take at least 2 Reginalds for whenever I get the alien containment unit at the 3rd Degassi base. So that way I'll have the best source of food down there with me. I'm sure I'll need some copper. This is a nice thing about the Cyclops, is you can just load it up to the brim. So here we got 3 big lockers of titanium. And then I'll bring copper, diamonds, lead, things like that. Rubies if I have any left for more thermal plants. But I believe rubies are already down there, so they shouldn't be too big of a deal. But I'll just take all these as well, and all my magnetite too, and some diamond. And then I'll take some of each of those as well. It's taken a while to pack for this trip. I'll also be taking the prawn suit with me, just because of the fact that I'll be able to eventually upgrade it to go deep enough. Whereas with the Seamoth is max. I can't do anything else with the Seamoth but explore the surface biomes, which I've got really everything I need in order to make the trip down to the Lost River. Well, with that, I think I should pretty much have everything, but I'll take some of these goodies just in case. Probably a good thing I stopped in here before I left entirely. And I won't have my beloved water filtration machine with me anymore, so I better stock up on water while I'm in town. And then I got my prawn suit drill arm, so I have 2 drill arms, which is more efficient at drilling the large deposits. But I think that this is the last time that I will see this base for a while, so I guess we're gonna have to be getting by just fine on just some traditional darkness. No more sunlight for a while. But real quick before I leave, it would be very wise to have a grow bed for lantern fruits, which I'll have 4 lantern fruit trees there, so I'll never run out of those. Let me grab one more thing, and before I go, I'll also grab this battery charger so I can just put its materials as well in the next base. That way I just won't have to use more resources, and because everything's on the surface, but I don't remember what all is down in the Lost River. Alright, well, I think I've got everything, so that means it's time to sneak off at night, and we will be back in a while. But for now, we gotta go down to the third Degassi base, which is down in the deep Grand Reef. And I think that I know a way down there that is Cyclops friendly. But I'm taking a bit of a gamble because I couldn't find it in my first playthrough, a Cyclops friendly route at least. But I think I might have seen one when I kind of went further into the Grand Reef, just kind of looking around in my last video, so I might have possibly found a path here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dive straight down here. Here we are in the Grand Reef, and I think in my last video I saw a cave, or at least an opening, in which I could sneak down underneath the landscape, even amongst our traditional warper friends. And there's also going to be there's also going to be crab squids down here, which are just a boatload of fun. Any ghost leviathans I should be made aware of? Any ghost leviathans? Just gotta keep on going deeper. This might be something of interest. I gotta get far enough away from this wall. I'm getting too close to this wall. No ghost leviathan friends as of yet, but I think that down here is an entrance, because it's kind of a hole between the top and the bottom of the landscape. Because I do not remember finding an entrance like this during my first playthrough. I remember finding little holes that really only the sea moth could fit in, but the Cyclops could if it was tilted at a crazy angle. If I see crab squids, it's a good sign and also a bad sign, because they are not friends, they are foes. Okay, there it is right there. I was able to get down here. Oh my gosh, jeez. Give me a heart attack and a stroke. Oh, I was looking for where the gosh darn thing was. Oh. I was looking, I knew that they were down here, but I wasn't expecting him to jump scare me right at the propeller. Jeez. My gosh, and those I think are... Yeah, that's a crab squid egg right there, if I had any desire to raise those things. We must press forward. There's gonna be warpers and crab squid friends lurking behind. But here is the third and final Degassi base. This is where things didn't go so well at the end for our Degassi friends. He's gonna come over here and attack me, but that's alright, just because he's not the biggest and the baddest like he thinks he is. And I should be ready to make the venture out into this Degassi base, but I might bring along the stasis rifle and the repulsion cannon. I won't need any of that fun stuff at all, so ooh. Get in here so fast. Get in here so fast. Here's the first thing that's very valuable. The alien containment unit. I wish I could take little mugs like that out and home with me. That'd be awfully nice. Here's the Cyclops shield generator, which I'll need for the Neptune rocket. And might just be handy generally going down in the lava zone. And here are just all kinds of things. One thing in particular, a cuttlefish egg. And here is the orange tablet, which is the second highest clearing. It's purple, orange, and then blue. I'm hoping I got everything here because I really don't want to come back. Look. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. You just stay out there. You just stay out there. I guess he's giving me a good look. It's been a while before he's seen a human snack before. Jeez. Goodness gracious. The warpers, they don't get along very well. Should I do something? My inventory's already full. Should I do something funny? I want to do something funny. Hey, buddy. Let me get back in here. Let me get back in here. That's awfully nice. I can freeze him from the inside. The cuttlefish egg, that is important. Small sample flask, utterly useless, but I suppose it'll be a fine decoration. Hey, buddy. I guess we're probably not on too good of terms anymore after I froze you in place, huh? That's what I'm thinking. Really want that PDA, but it really won't serve any purpose. It'll just be more of the story. I'm on full health, so I could probably tank a crab squid attack. Hey, buddies. I'm going to... Where on earth did the... I guess he's behind the base on the other side. They didn't do a very good job designing this base. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. You sure showed up awfully fast, I'll say that. You showed up awfully fast. We must not let the crab squids deter us. Oh, you don't know what to think, do you? You don't... I mean, this... Stop pushing me away from the base over here. Also, I have to freeze you again. I guess you think you're funny, don't you? You think you're being funny over there? They didn't do a very good job building this base because... Get in and never come out. But you have to go out just to access the basement or the exterior. Somebody didn't know what they were doing, I don't think. I guess there wasn't a whole lot going on down here. That's all there was, just a PDA. Hey, buddy. Just outside. Just outside. Aha! A picture frame. I didn't realize I didn't have that yet. I guess that is everything from this base. Which means now it is time to go to the Lost River, because I don't think that there's any more PDAs lurking about. I'm perfectly fine if I don't have to get out again. I am perfectly fine. But the entrance to the Lost River, if I can squeeze down through here. Whoa! Hey, buddy. The entrance to the Lost River is right there. They're ganging up on me. I gotta get out of here. Do not follow me into the Lost River. I'm just fine in the health department, but I would kind of like to place a beacon if they ever get off my hind end. But unfortunately, I got one waiting right at my tail. Go home. Go home. I don't want you. I want nothing to do with you. Get out of here. Go back to your biome. This isn't your biome. Here goes nothing. I'm going to climb out, and it's going to be Lost River entrance. I just don't want anything to do with you right now, buddy. So, get lost. Stay, hold still, please. I'm not exactly the fastest typer. I'm gonna get out of here while he's frozen and clueless. Now he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't even know what's going on. Look at that. And I got my Lost River entrance beacon right here. So here is the Lost River. I gotta keep an eye on my depth, because I can only go down 900 meters. Nickel ore. So if I find nickel, how many nickel was it? 3. I'll pin that because that'll be handy dandy for later. I don't know if there is nickel, or if there's, well, yes there is. There's resources along the edges here. There's quartz, but I don't know if there's crystalline sulfur, because the very instant that I know that there's crystalline sulfur, I would like some of it. And you need the prawn suit for this area. Yeah, here's all kinds of crystalline sulfur right here. And this is, of course, necessary for the jump jet upgrade, which we'll be needing a couple of if I can pick it up. But I really needed the prawn suit for this, just because this green stuff is toxic, and it doesn't feel too good to have that stuff on your skin, even if you're wearing a suit of kelp like the reinforced dive suit. The Cyclops just looks great in any biome in this game, because it's like you're just in this incredible alien world, and you know, that's, you're a human exploring a place where we kind of don't belong. So that's why it's just, so I think it's just awesome to see the Cyclops in any biome in this game, really. I could afford that like really quickly. I want that, I want that, and I also want that. These other ones aren't so important. That might be useful for the inactive lava zone whenever we have sea dragon friends lurking about. I don't think I'll be needing the grappling arm just in this region of the Lost River, so I'll just do double drill arm. I guess this is titanium. Yeah, we can do a double drilling situation. When we have 2 drills, I've heard that it's faster than 1. So I mean, it just doesn't get any better than this. Now there was something else. I think this is it. I'm hoping that this is not a rock and this is a nickel. Yes, this is a nickel deposit here. I've not had access to this resource until I have reached this point of the game, and I believe it's used in a good chunk of things, so I would like to have a good selection of it, just so it's not a big search mission later on. But you know what I should have done? I should have deconstructed my scanner room, and then I could have it down here as well. And I mean, then there would be no problem in resource collecting whatsoever. Alright, I think I would be free to move on from this point. I got a good little bit of resources here, and even more here in the prawn suit. A good supply of nickel, which means I should be able to craft the Cyclops depth Mark II, and then the Cyclops' depth will be maxed. And then I can look at the things for the prawn suit, and I should be able to craft the thing for the prawn suit as well, the jump jet upgrade. and perhaps even the prawn suit depth Mark 1 as well. So I mean, man, I'm crushing it. I know too much. I know too much about the game. I need 1 plasteel ingot and 3 nickel. I got the 3 nickel. I hate spending the lithium because I don't remember if I'll be able to find any more down here. Now the thing about the Cyclops depth module is I'm below 500 meters right now, which without it, I would be getting crushed right now, but I'm not going to go all the way up there. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to take it out and craft it right here fast enough. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Alright, there we go. That wasn't quite as bad as I thought it'd be. 5 glass, 2 titanium. That's a pretty good deal for infinite Reginalds. Now it's jump jets. I can't get that yet. I could have that. I can't have that yet. I could have that. 2 nickel. Crystalline sulfur. And there is the prawn suit. Oh, I need to be at the moon pool in order to craft that, don't I?
Playing partially translated broadcast.
Destroyed. Mode. Control. New targets unaccounted for. 1.
I remain as the last survivor of the Aurora at this point. They've gotten everybody but me, the warpers. My water situation is going to get me before them if I don't remember which locker I put it in. Here we go. Here we go. Just wonderful. Water is one of my favorite beverages in real life, as a matter of fact. Yeah, I can't do anything else until I make a moon pool. Now down that way is... We'll go ahead and go that way because we're in the Lost River. We want to do some exploring while we're here, of course. But this is one of the big skeletons that's down here. It sparks a lot of interesting theories among the community. Some people think it's a giant sea slug. Other people think that it had these big appendages and walked on the ocean floor. Really interesting theories, but you know, we gotta explore a little bit. We can't just rush to the cove tree and call it a day. You know, we gotta scan an ancient skeleton or two while we're down here. I could have been certain I spotted some quartz. You can't hide among that blue grass. You can't hide. And of course we gotta scan a ghost ray friend. The ghost rays, they're just so wonderful. They're like one of the only things that doesn't want to kill you down here. Now those nasty river prowlers, those aren't necessarily your friends, but look at that big old behemoth. I'm sure he didn't have a very nice last day alive. There's an alien cache right here. I'll likely need a purple tablet or so to unlock it. Oh, there's a crab squid over there. I don't feel like dealing with him. Wandering out of your zone there, buddy. Whoa! Freeze! Freeze, pal! You ain't going nowhere here with the stasis rifle. You ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna hit him again before I spend some time goofing around over here collecting rubies like somebody who should be getting the heck into the cache. This is just a whole bunch of more interesting things to scan. The story in this game is just so good, but it's been out for so long that I'm sure most people know about the story of the game. As I kind of thought, here is the second cuttlefish egg, so now I can have a pair of them. And these will be good for crafting ion power down the road at the thermal the thermal plant that they have. Just gonna sneak on by. Sneak on by. I'm not here. And you don't see a thing. You don't see a thing, buddy. That's right. You don't see a thing. I mean, you are utterly and absolutely clueless. You are clueless. He's just going down into the brine. I mean, I don't mind as long as he doesn't bother me too much. There is one of the ancient skeletons, perhaps one of the smallest of them all, because just around the corner this way is a much larger behemoth. And there happens to be a much smaller friend who is... He's not such a friend, but he's about the largest they have in this biome right now, the Ghost Leviathan, which is just right up here. The big brine falls and the massive skeleton down at the bottom of the bone fields. There's a Ghost Leviathan right over there. Who is radioing me? I thought that was the last person.
Indicate this biome contains unusually high concentrations of organic and fossilized remains.
Is that like them like spamming on their keyboard because they're mad that I got away? Well, if that's the case, you know, tough. I mean, you guys need to know how to counter a Cyclops, you know? I'm gonna try to hug this wall. There's the big guy down there, dead. But there is the Ghost Leviathan. No matter which way you take into the Lost River, you are forced to encounter a Ghost Leviathan. That Ghost Leviathan, he's like a spaghetti noodle down there in the mouth of the giant. He's like a spaghetti noodle. But I'm gonna rush over there and try to scan the big guy, the big skeleton, while he is distracted elsewhere. But no matter which way you take down here to the Lost River, you're guaranteed to run into a Ghost Leviathan. There's no surpassing him. There's a river prowler down there. I can't do no hiding here. I was gonna try to hide in his big eye socket, but there is a big guy. I'd hate to run into him. You know, I'd hate to run into him down here. He probably wouldn't leave me alive. And I'm going to get out of here before he gets any bright ideas. I'm gonna get out of there. And I'm just gonna try to sneak on by. But odds are he'll probably attack me, even with the other things roaming around in this portion of the biome. I'd love to swim around this thing some more, but he's just kind of a nuisance, and he'd just be a pain in the side. Okay, okay. I might be in the clear here. I wasn't expecting to sneak by him because I know for a fact that the Ghost Leviathan just is set on getting you whenever you enter the biome, even if there's 100 other things for it to go after. I might have been a little bit too prepared. Can't believe I'm saying that, but there's no place to set anything. Oh my gosh, there's so much stuff. I can't keep hauling everything around. I gotta get to the cove tree because I have so much stuff. I need to get rid of it. I need to just burn through a whole bunch of resources on a big base because I need to get more stuff in here. I came down here way too prepared. I mean, I was ready for whatever the Lost River threw at me. Well, here's silver. Silver's pretty good too, we'll accept that. I like a large room, a moon pool, an observatory for the cove tree, and maybe like a silo of multi-purpose rooms for like a big Reginald farm, because they are the best food, and a water filtration machine with thermal plants. That's not that much at all. It's only like a castle under the sea. I really would like to grind a mesmer up into a smoothie before I leave this area. Grind it up into a smoothie! Poor thing didn't stand a chance. I guess there is table coral. And lithium, that's what I need. That's great. Lithium and rubies around these little heat vents. There's more resource deposits everywhere here, but I have got to get the cove tree and burn through some materials. I gotta spin like an irresponsible person. And here is the dead sea dragon that rammed its head against the building, which is why it's had so much damage done to it. But here is the beautiful cove tree. This is one of my favorite biomes in the game. I mean, it is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. I'm kind of debating, do I want to base on that side or this side? Because anywhere where there's a cove tree involved, it's beautiful. And this is a peaceful place. There's no nasties. There should be heat vents. Oh, there's one nasty, a river prowler. I'm thinking I want the base right in this area would be a good place to do it. But look at that beautiful cove tree right there with the ghost rays. So I have to start building anything before mesmers. They don't belong with cuttlefish at all. Mesmers are pathetic compared to cuttlefish. But I'll have to start building some things, some serious things. Large room, 2 plasteel ingots, that is 20 titanium and 8 lithium. Creating a plasteel ingot, that's one way to free up some storage space because it's so expensive. That's why I'm going to start with a large room, so that way I can get a whole bunch of resources out of the way and I might be able to start collecting again, as well as I'll be able to get the moon pool, vehicle upgrade console, and then I'll be able to upgrade this area of the game. Is just, they did such a good job designing this area of the game. And I mean, you know what we have to do when we find a new thing? We gotta scan the gosh darn thing. We gotta scan that gosh darn thing. I didn't even need to bring a deep shroom. There's so many deep shrooms about. That is gorgeous. I want it centered, like, I want it as low to the ground as possible and centered with the tree kind of deal. The outpost begins right here. I'll probably need some reinforcements, but that's okay. I always got the Cyclops to live in if everything falls to shambles. I don't know if I want it there or a little bit closer to the tree. It's such a difficult decision, but first I'm gonna find some water so I don't die before I get to make my difficult decision. Oh, scrumptious. I don't know if water's scrumptious, but it's good. It's good after a hot day. Placement has to be perfect right off the bat, because if even one thing is messed up, then it all goes downhill from there. I think that would be a perfect placement. That'd be the view from the bottom. The observatory, I'd like it to be centered, of course. It's got to be perfect. If it's a base I build, it has to be a perfect base. And this large room will be kind of the core of the base, and everything will stem out from that large room. I guess these are the closest heat vents. I'll probably do a better setup at a later point, but right now I'm just gonna get them set down for now. 83, that's pretty good. What's the big one? 82. Now I need power transmitters, which I brought a bunch of gold. And just think, there are actually paths you could take through the Lost River to skip the cove tree and go straight to the inactive lava zone. Who would want to do that? Cove tree is like the nicest looking place in the game. There we go. And then I'll do my thermal plants right on top. My character is not having a good time right now due to the heat. And then I gotta like get back to the Cyclops. Maybe could I possibly sneak it down here? And sneak it like around underneath this water? Because it's pretty hard to see underneath here. And so it'll be more appeasing to the eye. I know what I said about the resources, but it seems like such a shame just to leave them down here. They're lost and they have no home.
30 seconds.
I'm about to die.
Welcome.
Not anymore. I got my new base down here now. No, I can't do the observatory in the middle. This is a tragedy right here, folks. All right. Mark 1. Here we got the prawn suit Mark 1 down to 1,300 meters. Fabulous. I can also make the jump jet upgrades as well. Here is the prawn suit jump jet upgrade. Alright, well, it's kind of a tight fit in there, but I think I'm starting to get the general shape of the base that I want. I had to deconstruct the entire thing, and it was a very, very, very painful process. And it's flooded right now, so that means I gotta go. I might just have just enough lithium to make the structure stable. But I also haven't expanded it to the extent. I'd like these to be 3 tall, like silos for breeding the Reginalds. I'd like an observatory over there. You'd think these biomes are like massive, but if you don't build like out in the Great Plains, because I want like a very specific shape whenever I build. I'm gonna get some quartz, stalker tooth. What's for the observatory? Enamel glass 2. Now I can build a hatch and the observatory.
Unless constructed with a specific research task in mind, observatories and other glass modules are important for survival purposes.
I know all about it. I guess I didn't over prepare after all, because I burned through a lot of titanium to make that base. A lot of titanium. And I'm still using titanium. Get out of here, you good for nothing jerk. Right, well, I kind of did a couple additional things to the base. I added this additional floor on top at this different angle, which I thought would just kind of look neat. Because when you have this traditional room like this, there's 4 places where the observatory could go, and I kind of wanted the observatory to be centered with these center beams. So whenever it is actually on an end, then it can be centered. So I just thought it'd be neat to kind of have it elevated some and then centered on top of those beams, kind of like so. But I'm actually not able to just put a ladder up here because there's technically like a floor between these two, and so I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it in a way that would look good either, so I've just got a hatch on this floor and one on this floor, which really it's okay. Normally I wouldn't want to do that, but it's okay in this biome just because there really is no danger associated with any of the neighbors, at least for now. This one I got I've kind of added some things. It's nowhere near finished. I got an alien containment up here with my observatory. Then down here, my entrance is down here. I got all my windows. I finally got water filtration down here, so I don't have to eat a full grove of lantern fruits just to quench my thirst. Things are just starting to really come together. And then back here I'll have my alien containment units, as I've already discussed. But I don't really think that this place has to be perfect before I proceed. It's just kind of like a landing pad. I wanted to have some place to dump off all my stuff from the Cyclops. The Cyclops was just so full. It's still got quite a bit of stuff in it, but it's better than what it was for sure. I still need to sort a little bit of it, maybe even get rid of more of it yet by putting some additional storage down there. But I'm pretty pleased with where I am kind of finishing things. So with that, I think I'm going to end things here. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.